So my main focus today is going to be about river fishing. You know, we're on the Columbia River, early spring, water levels are low, and it's ideal for two main setups. One's an indicator setup and the other is a full sink. So that's today as we take you sport fishing on the phone.
Sport Fishing on the Fly is brought to you by Maui Jim Sunglasses, Humminbird Fish Finders, First Tellurium Corporation, and Hardy Rods and Reels.
So again, I've got my classic setup on here for our bugger fishing. You know, full sink line. I got my full sink, actually type 7, fairly quick sinking. I've got my 9-foot 6-weight rod. Well, these guys pull pretty hard. And a short leader. Like, here's the problem people have a lot of times when they're fishing, especially with woolly buggers, is they use too long a leader. Like, I've got probably max 3 feet there. And here's the bow, so I'll bring him in, I'll show everybody. But there's my leader. If you look at it, my leader really starts here, and the fly's already up there. You know, it's max 3 feet. You don't want it too long. There's a nice little bow. You know, kind of hold him up for everybody. There he's there. You know, nice fish. Yeah, we'll let him go. That's a good start. There he goes. He is gone. So again, as I was mentioning earlier, you know, we've got high winds. I actually want to indicator fish because the water is fairly low right now. There's a lot of fish moving. But there's my length to my sink tip. So 2.5 feet, 3 feet max. Keep it tight. There's a trick. You want that fly line down, gets it in front of the fish. They're not leader shy. That's the maximum leader. And of course, my favorite, the bulldog. You know, this one's Don's personal favorite. Always a killer out here. So what we're going to do is work the bulldog for the next hour or two, and if this wind ever dies, I want to show you how to fish a gummy bear. It's actually pretty cool. So let's get another. Oh, there's another one. So the way we approach it, again, go through, especially in these shallow water areas, I always go through with the indicator first. So indicator setup first, bounce it through, try to work the whole area. You're not going to scare the fish, but definitely work it hard with the indicators. And then once you've worked the whole area with an indicator, run through with your wet line and then tractor pattern like this bulldog or other woolly buggers, because you're going to pick up a ton more fish, and it all depends on what they're feeding on. Sometimes you'll get way more in the indicator because that's what they're feeding on. They're keying on nymphs. Other times they're going to be keying on big stuff like stoneflies, moving, you know, small bait fish, everything else, and that's where the bugger comes in. So this one looks pretty good. I might have to get him on the reel. So probably the minimum I would go with this kind of setup with my full sink line is a 6-weight rod. Sometimes we even go to 8 weights. Like, we'll use something very stout because you got to set the hook. And a lot of times you're in this current, you have to set the hook. You're casting bigger fly. So sometimes we go to the heavier rods because you do catch some big fish. You know, we've caught them up to 12 pounds in the Columbia before. And if you don't have something fairly stout, you're going to have a long time getting them in. And I think this guy's ready. Another nice one. Oh, look at that. Look at the colors on this fish. Oh, this is gorgeous. Beautiful colors. There's the bulldog's out. Just going to wet my hand, show everybody. Oh, look at this fish. This is a gorgeous rainbow. Look at those colors. That is just a beauty. That's about, 20 inches, fat, healthy, good to go. Beautiful. Oh, there he goes. Oh, the beauty of springtime is the color of the fish. The color of the fish. Some are actually getting ready to spawn. Like there's a lot that move through the system. They take on those winter colors. They're darker. Oh, it's just, they're beautiful, beautiful fish right now. And there's the setup again. 9-foot rod, full sink line, short leaders. I can't stress that enough. Short leaders to your full sink line. People will go and use way more. That is all I have right there. 2.5, 3 feet. That's all you want in line with that to get the fly down. Gets down in front of the fish, and of course, the classic bulldog. So we're gonna keep working down here. I'm probably gonna get 4 or 5 more on this setup. And then once the wind dies a bit, we are gonna go back to the nymph because I wanna show you how to nymph that gummy bear the right way. So we just pulled back up to my favorite spot. We were just waiting for the wind to die a little bit. And now as you can see, I've got my 10-foot rod. So I have my indicator set up, which I love to do with our new fly I'm gonna show you, codename Gummy Bear. I'll show everybody in a bit, but again, dry line. You can see I've got my indicator. I like a quick release indicator. I got a little bit of line left, and there's some of that winter algae. There's a swivel right there, and then a couple feet down to the gummy bear, which we're going to show you in a bit. So let's get out there and see if we can get a few. Wind is good. It's calmed down, which is nice. Now I got a good drift on the line, and I should be able to cover this whole zone quite well. So hopefully the fish are on it. We'll see. I'm determined to get something on the gummy bear. It's just, 2 weeks ago it was on fire. They wouldn't leave it alone, but again, that's 2 weeks ago, quite a bit of time. And we have lots of floating debris. And I never always find when I'm nymphing, it's never great when you've got lots of stuff in the water. It seems to distract them, but I am going to give it a shot. And even if I don't catch something, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to show everybody because I am going to work it for a bit more. But here it is, codename Gummy Bear. It's actually a squirmy worm. So here's a squirmy worm. There's one of them we love to use. So I tie that with a orange bead, the blood red color. Got a little bit of the special dubbing on there. This thing 2 weeks ago, even last week, on fire, like crazy. They were just grabbing everything, but a lot less debris in the water. So let's go to the bench. Let's tie up one of these, a gummy bear. It's actually a squirmy wormy, but we call it the codename Gummy Bear. And then when we come back, hopefully I got a fish on with it. It's just the bulldog's been on fire and I can't seem to get one on the gummy bear.
Today we're going to tie a squirmy jig, let's call it. It's a super heavy jig pattern. Get this thing right down real fast, real quick. Especially, I found this one works extremely well in pocket water because it's so heavy, it gets down really quick. A Euro nymph, Czech nymph, this one. So let's get her going. In the vise today we have, let me find her. We have an there we are, Arex FW551 in a size 10. We will be using some squirmy wormy for the tail. For the body, we will be using some Semperfly ice straggle. They call it brown, but I find it's kind of a dark red. And I'll be using some sticky back flat lead for the extra weight. And then I've got a molted pink bead, and I'm going to be using some Semperfly Nano Silk in red. Now, you've got a classic waxed in red or a different thread that you like in red, use that. The nano silk, I unfortunately don't right at the moment have any classic waxed in red, but the nano silk you have to be very careful with because it is sharp. Like it will cut through this squirmy material, and that's not just nano silk. That's any of these. Um, Sorry, I started with the thread when I shouldn't have. That's with any of these GSP type threads. They're just they're sharp. They'll cut through. So what I like doing is taking a piece of this is a sticky back flat lead. If you've got something else you prefer, use that. But I like going about the halfway point, and I'll wrap up right up tight to the bead. It'll actually even help hold that bead in place. And then I'll tear it off and make sure that's folded in. And then I'll put another layer just starting just a little tiny bit back further. In this case, it's not critical that you get a nice taper because it's going to all be hidden by that ice straggle anyway. So let's get it there with my nail. Now start my thread. I jumped the gun. That moved up forward. Make sure it sits nice and tight there. So yeah, get that in there nicely and make sure it's tight in. Using a bit of a different lighting system here, so I'm just learning how this new lighting system works. I'm gonna actually pull them back a bit because I think it's a little too bright. Just getting ready for my semi-retirement, and I'm going to be moving and traveling a lot, so I'm just trying to find stuff. These are just little travel lights. So take my squirmy blasphemous material, and I'm just going to put it on right behind where I stopped with the lead, just so it doesn't add another bump. I mean, like I said, it really doesn't matter, but this will straighten it out a little bit, flatten out my thread. So one thing, if you're going to tie any of these squirmies with GSPs, just make sure you're conscious of what you're doing, that you're not tearing things, and that you're, flattening your thread often. So again, just come on back, and then I like going under the squirmy, right tight, and then over, and then back under again, and then back over. Just helps hold it. And then I'll just usually put this out of the way because I like cutting it after I've done my body. Just gives me a bit more of the length, allows me to cut it to the length I want it. I'm just going to make sure I get some of that center core caught in. Tie that in all the way back, all the way forward. This also helps hide that sticky back lead as well. So I'm just gonna wrap this forward, touching wraps. Nice touching wraps. Just take your time, and every time, make sure you stroke this stuff forward. Now I know a lot of people don't like these squirmies and blobs and boobies and other things that are not traditional flies, but these work. Especially in the rivers, they work well. I've caught fish in the lakes as well with them, but they're definitely more of a river fly lure, let's call it. Tip off your material, leave that nice and scraggly like that, and then I will do one set of whip finishes right in there right now, holding all that material back. And I will take some Sally's or whatever head cement you like using. I like using Sally's purely Two reasons. One, I like Sally's, it works well. And two, you can find it anywhere. I don't have to be near a fly shop to buy it if I'm not near one, right? So don't worry if there's a few little scragglers sticking out. It makes it look even buggier. It's a bit of an ugly fly, but a lot of times these ugly flies are the ticket, right? For now, I'll just take a piece of Velcro here, just roughly, just making sure that all those little leggies are sticking out. Done. Done, done, done. Like I said, kind of ugly, but it worked. And I like making them heavy. So now this, I like having it about the length of the body at least. So like there, you can always cut it when you're at the river and you're finding it in short strikes, right? So I always like having it a little bit longer. But that's it. Super easy. It'll ride like that in the water, right? Sorry, it'll ride because you didn't get to see that because it was under out of the camera view. It'll ride like that in the water. Maybe that's no good. But yeah, so it's like I said, very effective. I tie these in several color schemes, red, all black. I tie it in a green as well. I tie it in a pink. I really like it in a pink, right? It works really well in the pink. And I also tie one that's red like this with a shorter straggle. And then I put a couple of wraps of black right behind the head. It just makes it look a little bit more like the head section or the thorax section, so of an insect. So, yeah. But simple fly, ugly. Some people call it blasphemous, but what it is, they work. That's all that matters. So, hope you guys enjoyed that one, and thanks for watching another episode of On the Bench with Sport Fishing on the Fly.
Well, we got a little bit of a weather change. We actually got the wind changing upstream, which I kind of like. It actually helps hold the boat in a better position. But I've worked this now quite strong, so I worked it probably 3 good passes through the whole run and nothing, not a tap. But again, as I mentioned before, we got lots of that winter algae. It always comes off late April, early May, covers the, really covers the water, and it gets real tough to nymph. It's better with a bugger or some bigger pattern that you can run through it. But I quickly want to go again through the recommended setup when we're using the indicator. So I like a 10-foot rod. So I've got a 10-foot 6-weight, something that I use on the lakes too that I can open up the loop. So meaning I can get a little wider when you have an indicator, everything's heavier, so you can open your loop a little bit and be a softer cast. You're not really aggressively pushing it because you don't want to pop that indicator. So again, 10-foot rod, I prefer. See, I open up the loop, nice soft cast. I've got a 15-foot leader down to my swivel, and then I extend down 4 or 5 feet from there, down to your fly. And then you can adjust the indicator to the depth. And I like to go usually 2 to 3 feet longer than the depth of the water. So again, simple example, if the depth of the water is 4 feet, I'm running about 7 feet. So that's kind of a general rule, because your indicator will bob along. The currents on the bottom of the river are always slower than up above, so your fly will always sit back a little bit. So you always want that leader longer. So I think what we're gonna have to do is change back over, do a few runs through here, and then we're gonna start moving around. And I've got some other runs, we'll try the indicator, but so far this is my favorite run for it. Not that great, just might be too much goo in the water. So I'm switching back over to the Bulldog. I wanna catch some fish. See, there you go, we run through with the indicator and the gummy bear. Just too much stuff in the water. There's just too much debris floating down, all that winter algae, and I don't think they can really see the nymphs that well. I mean, obviously they can in certain areas, but this just shows you, as soon as I got that Bulldog out there, way better. And this is a decent sized fish. I'm just gonna try to get us over in the calm here so I can reel him up and get a good picture. All right. Whew. This one is nice. Look at him out there, just waking. See him there? It's the Bulldog. Look at the Bulldog. Just hanging out of his mouth. Oh, look at the colors this time of year. They're just gorgeous fish. Oh, there he is. Okay, and again, you know, when we're in BC, everything's barbless, and now as soon as you get them in the net, they always pop the fly. You know, the fly came out right off the bat. It's in the net. So just try to get them out of the netting material. There it is there. Just give them a drink, and then I'll hold them up. And it looks like this guy might even be a post-spawn fish. You know, it is end of April. They normally do their thing in April, May, you know, and into June, but there he is there. You can see he's kind of skinnier, but beautiful colors. Yeah, the thing is, always wet your hands. I'll hold him up briefly because it looks like he's done his thing. It's fairly thin. But there he is there. You know, pretty thin, pretty soft. And there he goes. So he's just coming off the spawn. Look like a post-spawner. So, you know, in here, a lot of non-resident fish because they come up from Lake Roosevelt. They'll spawn anywhere, you know, the biologists have told us anywhere even in February, March, all the way to June. So you never know. But normally this time of year, chrome, healthy, fat. And there it is again, you know, the bulldog. So this is Don's personal version. That's the one I prefer out here for the rivers. And, you know, again, just a classic bugger pattern. You know, we tie this in various sizes, all the different colors. We've got the copper dog, the coral dog, we've got all the different colors. And it's just that burnt orange really makes it. So let's get it out there, get another one. I think there's more big fish in there. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at the air time. Oh, fantastic. Oh, still going up. Wow. What a... Well, kind of recap, we moved up the river a little bit to one of my favorite runs. And again, this is your classic bugger run right here. Like, this is really ideal for any kind of buggers, only because it's really slow. You can see the action. A little bit deeper, a little slower water, so I can really move the fly along here. Not ideal to indicator fish because you are really, really slow, unless you want to just let it drift by the boat and kind of do like our Bow River technique where we just cast it and just drift along and let it hang. I like a little faster moving water from my indicators, but this is ideal water to swing buggers through and just work the edges. So I'm just going to get this guy in. This looks pretty nice. Oh, there he is there. Beautiful. All right, there's the bulldog right in the corner of the lip. Of course, barbless just comes out. And nice fish, you know, not huge, but really healthy for this time of year. Okay, there he is there. Oh yeah, nice chrome bullet. Oh, I'm just gonna put him back in the net and let him go. Look, he came in hot, he's ready to roll. There he goes, just like that. Woo-hoo. Beautiful. And like I mentioned before, it's ideal water. So if you look at it, we've got nice shallow water here. You know, we're probably in 3-4 feet. Real calm all the way through. So you can see all the way down, very calm water. Ideal to cast your bugger, your bulldog, again, out into that deeper water. So sometimes I can go in skinny water. I'll go into shore sometimes because they'll move in. But as you can see, there's very little flow in that shallow water. So again, more flow out here, let it sink, bring it through, and they'll follow it right in. All right, so what I'm doing, it's your classic down across technique. So casting straight out, just straight out sideways, you know, perpendicular to the water. Allow it to sink down. I'm just controlling my drift. I've got an electric motor, so I'm just slowly drifting down. Let that fly pick up in the current and then slowly bring it back. And you want that fly actually down and swing behind the boat, down across. Real good technique if you're from shore, letting that fly swing in close to shore and bringing it back. And there's a fish rose out there. And a lot of them will follow it right in from the depths. You know, I'm probably casting out to 15 feet of water. Again, straight out. Slightly downstream, let it sink. I've got that full sink line, and then bring it through the fish, and hopefully somebody grabs it. Oh, oh, nice air. Oh, you know, this is classic. I love springtime fishing. You know, fish are hot. Water temperature, I just measured it earlier. It's around 44 to 46, depending on, you know, where we measured it. But the ideal, I find the fish really get cranked up around 48 to 50. 48 to 50 in this river, you can't go wrong. But you know, 46, it's getting close. So they're not feeding as heavy as I'd like, but they're still here, which is kind of nice. That guy, aerial fish too, very cool. All right, let's get this guy in. He took some real nice air. Get him in the net. Oh, there he is. Oh, oh no. Oh, gee. Oh no, it's still hot. Still a hot fish. Come on. There he is there. Oh, gee. Come on. You just got to get their head out of the water without breaking your rod. There he is. Okay, that's better. The fly is out. Get him back in the water here, give him a little drink. That'll hold him up for everybody. But just another chrome bullet. Everything's about the same size today, you know, 16 to 18, but healthy and fat. And I brought this guy in fairly hot. Stop it. Oh boy, there he is there. Oh yeah, look at that. Gorgeous fish, you know, just 18 inch or so, just beautiful. So I'm just gonna let him go. Oh gee, there it goes. Just again hot. I like to bring him in hot. A lot of people will play a fish out forever. You know what? I've got 10 pound to 12 pound test on. They're not leader shy, very short. Get them in, keep them fresh, and let them go. And the fish has, you know, 100% chance they're going to survive. It's great. Just don't play them out too long. I know some people will actually play the fish for 10 minutes in the current because they think they got light tippet, or they're not, you know, using too light a rod. 3-4 weight rod when they should be using a 6 weight. So again, suit your tackle to match the fish so the fish has a chance. Try to get them in a hurry, give them their best odds to survive. Well, that was fantastic. And I've got the rest of this run to fish too, so could get some more nice ones. Oh, whoa, oh, man, they're hot. Holy cow, this is a nice fish. This is a hot fish. Wow. I think this guy's got a little bit of weight to him. And again, you know, 6 weight rod, as I mentioned earlier, I normally like to go with an 8. Something a little more stout where you can handle the fish, but you know, in this calmer current here, a 6 weight works just fine. So I'm just gonna put this guy in here. I'm gonna try to get in a little, oh, gee, another jump. Wow, they're hot fish. Whoa. Okay. Actually, I'll get us out. We'll just drift along in the bigger water here. I can multitask, doing the motor and catching the fish. Beautiful. But you know, the nice thing is when you fish alone, like I'm doing today, I get to catch all the fish. I don't have to worry about the bulldog just hugging all my fish like he always does. See, I can get a shot into him too because he's not here right now, but oh, this guy is digging. That's a nice fish. Oh, another clone, like just gorgeous. You know, all in that 18 to 20 inch range. Super healthy rainbows. I just love it. They're just great looking fish. So I'm gonna bring this guy up. This one's got a little more meat to him. Oh, there he is there. Whoa, that bulldog just hanging on there. You know, and you see always in the corner of the mouth, you know, with the bulldog, it's always the corner because they always swipe at it. They're chasing and then they swipe. So let's get this guy in. Oh, gee, still hot, but again, I like to get them in when they're hot. You know, you don't want to bust your rod or anything, but again, I've got 10 pound test on there, fairly stout, and I want to give the fish the best chance of surviving. There he is there. Oh, look at that. Another gorgeous fish. And there's a bulldog just hanging off. Barbless hook, just, oh, right in the tough part of the jaw. There's the bully, always good. Wow. Gonna give him a drink, and then I'll let everybody see him. Oh, look at that. You know, that's a 20 incher, just gorgeous. Let's let her go here. Oh, there he goes. Wow, 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 that's all I can say. What a day. You know, if you want this adventure, actually go to ontheflyadventures.ca. That's our new place to go. You can go and check it out. You want this adventure, you can book it all there. It's fantastic. You know, this is big water, of course. So we've got our life jackets on. Everything else has been good. We've, you know, had a very good day. It is big water, though. You have to take care. I recommend big boats, you know, minimum probably 14 footer with a 40 horse. You need something big on this water, but it is fairly good. This time of year, it's a little bit lower and a little bit safer. But when you come out here, take care. conserve our waters, and we'll see you next time we take you sport fishing on the